Okay, so today I decided to step in front of the camera instead of behind the camera. I wanted to go over a few things on the Hesine M-505. I've had a lot of emails and questions from a lot of people regarding this unit, so I thought today I would do a little video on the most common questions I've been getting, and hopefully it will help you out. So the first thing, let me get out of the way a little bit here, and let's get zoomed in here. So the first thing people want to know is leveling your bed. As you can tell, mine's pretty bunged up here. It needs a good cleaning. I just use the paper method and go around. I start in the middle, and then I go corner to corner, and then back to the middle. I usually set my screws halfway, so that way when my nozzle is down at the point where it needs to be on the bed, it's not going to be too much play there. You're going to just have enough room to adjust your wing nuts there to be able to get that nice and level. One thing with doing that, a lot of people forget about this end stop over here. This end stop, if you don't have that configured properly, which takes a little bit of tweaking here and there, can cause a lot of trouble if you don't have that set right as well. So when I do that, I always make sure, usually if your print is, everything's level, you got everything where it needs to be, it's usually your end stop that you want to adjust there if you're getting some really loose prints to start on your first layer, or it's not applying right there. You can adjust that end stop just a little bit just to get things going right again. That was one of the more common issues. Like I said, I've run through a few of the issues that I've had with it. The binding at the higher heights, and that was just loosening off the motors just a little bit. They were a bit too tight, and after I did that, because the motors have to be sitting in there level as well. If you have one cranked a little too tight, or it's not set in there right, it's gonna cause things to not be completely straight. Another thing I use is little torpedo level, and to make sure up here is completely level. By checking that, I know that when I do my taller prints, I'm gonna have less issues as well. And with these, you can usually get it pretty well calibrated. As you can tell, even in putting it on my bed, my bed looks level too. You can do whatever method you want for leveling your bed. Okay, so gone over the bed leveling. If you want me to go further in depth on the bed leveling and showing an example of that, just let me know in the comments below, and I'll make sure I do up a video of me the next time I do level it, because I do have to take this off and get it all cleaned up here, as you can tell. But I still have no problem if I print with a raft. I can usually get a nice good solid print still off of a bed that's that bunged up. Mind you, I might want to print in the back corner or something where it's a little bit cleaner. Another thing I noticed was the heat bed. This cable here, I have it strapped to the back corner screw there, so that way when it goes backwards, it's not hitting the motor back here. And because it was the solder joints were coming loose from the heating bed, so that was getting really annoying, because then my heat bed wouldn't be heating. ABS, I do, I think, 235, and PLA, I do, I want to say 210 for nozzle temps. The bed, 60 to 80, depends on how I'm feeling. I do have the enclosure, so that helps out a lot. And that's what you're hearing in the background is the cooling system for my main board there, which is going pretty good right now because it is pretty warm in my office, right in my shop here right now. So yeah, just make sure everything's level, and then when you get onto the software end of things, it's not that hard. I still use the Cure engine, just because it's what I had started with, that right away, no issues, away I went. Another thing I noticed was these rods, there was no lubrication on them. So basically, all I did was I went down to Canadian Tire and grabbed some white grease. And white grease will help you just prolong the life of it. And I use it on my my mostly printed CNC machine as well on the Z-axis, and quite the lifesaver, and help things move a little bit more smoothly. So I do run my filament through the top here. You can, I don't know if you can see, it's just, let me, we'll get in a little bit closer here, and as you can see, it's just a tube going through the top, just a piece of rubber tubing that I had found. I just drilled a hole and spliced it in, and as you can tell, nothing fancy by any means. So yeah, when leveling, as you can tell, my bench isn't that level right there, but that's fine, because my bed is. So I'm just going to get in a little bit closer just so you can have a look here. So when that guy is on there, it should be level right across. So, and like I said, that heat bed wiring was catching on the motor there, so I had to route it to the side here. I had to unsolder it off the bottom, move that over, and you can just see how bad my bed is here. But my last print, not one flaw in it, turned out great, so I was quite happy with that. Just, yeah, so yeah, if you can use any of these ideas, do it, and modify whatever to fit your needs. This printer is now a lot cheaper. I see a lot of discussion on a lot of sites about all these newer, cheaper ones that come out. You're going to get what you pay for. Even with this, you're going to spend a lot of time leveling and adjusting. Not every print's going to print properly, so on and so forth. I had one person tell me that I was only going to get one out of 3 prints will actually turn out the way I want it, which I actually have a higher success rate than that. So I think it's more like 8 out of 9, or 9 out of 10, or something higher. I have played with this machine enough now that I've gotten it to where I like it, and the odd time you know, it's just regular maintenance, making sure your belt tension is right on both, you know, your bed and your Z-axis. And because over time they will come a little loose. I did find the screws on here a little loose, so I just took some crazy glue and glued them so that way it would hold a little bit better. Not like it was going to hurt anything. I still do have a little rat's nest of wires back there. For anyone that wants to see more on, well, I'll show a picture of it here of the cooling setup. I think I have a picture here. I might have shown it in another video as well. I did stop using the smoke alarm just because I was printing a lot of ABS lately, and just it likes to set it off a lot quicker than PLA does, so I stopped using that. I had someone ask me about how it should look when they're extruding their filament. So I'm just going to go ahead and heat up my extruder to 205, let's say. So I'm just going to get that temperature up here. I don't know if I can zoom in. Yeah. So we're just going to let that go up. So I tend to not want to move the machine after I've gotten everything right, because as soon as I move it a foot even, it's going to want to go all over the place, and I got to readjust everything. It is what it is. So I'm just going to raise up the Z-axis. Just so we can get a tighter shot of the nozzle. I'm just going to zoom out a bit, and as you can see, both sides are going up nice and smoothly. There's not a bunch of swaying. There might be a little bit, but I don't expect everyone to enjoy this video. It's basically for those people that have been asking me questions about it, and I thought I'd just do a quick little video on that. Mind you, I don't know how long this is going to be. One thing I did know is the belt tensioner here. I ended up having to, because the belt, I didn't cut it off properly, but I wanted some room. I just had to put a little zap strap around it there to hold it up from rubbing on the bar here, so that way it wasn't gumming it up. Okay, so we're at 206 here, so I'm just going to lower the camera down and bring it in tight into the extruder nozzle here. Taking my tape off, I'll take that off for now. And by the looks of it, it looks like my nozzle needs a little bit of cleaning as well. That's what happens when your prints decide to stick to the bed. So I'm just going to extrude a little bit of filament here. This is ABS. Ooh. And there we go. Nice Nice and stringy. Oh, look at that. Look at that good flow. And that's what you want. I've had a few people ask me how it should be looking, and basically it should be just shooting out of there pretty good. And all I'm doing is on repeater hose. I'll show you here. I'll just move the camera over. And right there. So I'm just hitting that button right there where the mouse cursor is there. And that puts out, you can set it to less than that, but I just shot it out at 50 there. I think it is. So now that we have that, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the nozzle and turn the fan on. High quality fan there. So I'm just going to put the cover back on the machine for the moment here, so that way it cuts that noise level down. As you can tell, the fan's going, you can't even hear it now. Okay, so let's take an object and load it up, and I'll run through my settings here so you can kind of see what I do to get things going. So I'm just going to move. Okay, so it is going to be on a bit of an angle, sorry about that. Alright, so we're going to start by going to the object placement. Let's grab something here randomly. Oh, I last printed this out. We'll go with that. It's the Cyclone attachment there for my Cyclone dust collector for my CNC machine. So obviously I don't want to print it like that. You could, but it's up to you. So I'm just going to rotate. Alright, helps if I math correctly here. And so that looks a little bit better. I won't have to add so much to it. I don't know how that's looking on there. So then we're going to go to our slicer. Right now I got RAF selected. Quality is 0.2 millimeters, touching the bed for the support type. Speed I have at 25 millimeters a second. Outer perimeter speeds are at 30 millimeters a second. Infill speed is at 40. Infill density for this item I did at 20%. I enabled cooling on it. And then I think that's all for, yeah, just the extruder selector. If you want, you can, I do wraps, but you can do a brim on items though too. It all depends on what you want to do. And try printing this a small item with both. Select one and then print another one with the other, just to kind of see what it does for you, and even suspend your item up in the air a little bit, just so you can kind of get an idea of how your printer is going to print. And we're going to go over to the configuration file here, just so you can kind of see. That way I don't have to tell you everything on it. You can just kind of look at it and pause the video and do your own. And what works for me might not work for you, so you might have to play with it and get it to where you want it as well. So that's the speed and quality. For the structures, you can go through there. I always go to automatic. If you're printing vases or stuff like that, you're going to want to unselect the solid top. For the solid bottom, I usually leave that on. Yeah, and then your pattern, I usually do lines, but you can do grids, or I just find the lines are more than enough. And then I'll just go through here quickly here. I guess I could export my settings here. And then we're going to go over to extrusion. I'm just going to show these settings here just quickly because some people want to see how I had it set up. I'm not going to go through everything. If you want me to, I guess I could at a later time, but for now this is about as far as I'll go. And you can copy whatever, or try my settings out if you like. I don't think this file here I've ever changed anything in the G code. And then mesh errors, I just went to combine everything type A. I think I have used all of these, but I find the combined everything is where I need to have it. Oh. Okay, so my nozzle's down to 34 degrees now, my extruder. So now I'm going to slice it with Kira. Okay. So that looks pretty darn good. It's got my supports and everything on it. And it says it's going to take 6 hours to print. Or 6.5 hours. If you're new to repeater host, just play around with it. There's not much you can do to go wrong with it. I haven't played with the repeater host server though. To me, I use Dropbox, do all my designs and that on my other computer. Just Dropbox it over to this one, and then away I go. And so once I have it set, I usually make sure that my feed rate is probably down to about 60. If it's a really detailed item, and I will lower it down. All depends on what I'm printing. I don't think I ever go over 75% feed rate. I'm sure there's something I can adjust in the settings, so I don't have to keep doing that. But that's whatever to me. It's not a huge deal. So some parts of the print, it might, like my first couple layers, I might knock it down to 50 and then bump it up to 60, because once you have it going, you can just manually adjust your speeds there. I have my fan to set to start up once it gets to the 0.5 mil or whatever it is, so it's a couple layers up anyways, and it seems to be doing the job so far, so I'm happy with that. The SD card, if you go to that, this is going to have all your manuals and stuff like that on it, so you can actually, I think you can actually, I thought there was a way to actually download your items here, or you can just go in. Yeah, anyways, this test file sucks, so don't ever use that. This got all your drivers, everything on it. This came with your machine, so if you take it, pop it in your laptop, pull all those files off there, and you'll be good to go. And it has the manual on how to level your hotbed, the manual on it, offline printer, you know, stuff like that. I do have the mostly printed CNC machine files on there, just because I want to make sure I always have them, so for some reason, yeah, I need a part, I can print it off really quickly. I don't even have to plug my laptop in, I can just go right to my machine and select it there, and that way that's all good. So okay, I'm rambling on here. So I've gone over the printer, I've gone over the software. If you're looking for more in-depth details, just shoot me an email or get a hold of me, whichever way. Leave a comment, and I usually try to get back to everyone as soon as I can. I do have a lot on the go, so sometimes it's right away, sometimes it's not. All depends on how far away my laptop or my tablet or my computer is from me, which usually isn't far. So make sure you like and subscribe, and definitely subscribe, and also check out the website as well for more stuff on there as well, and I'll be adding more things to the website here in the near future here. And then yeah, if you guys have any more questions about this or any other electronics or repairing anything or anything of that nature, let me know and I will see what I can do for you. I'm gonna do a video here shortly on the mostly printed CNC machine. I absolutely love it, and I'm pretty excited to do up a video for that, just because the community is absolutely awesome for that. So any questions, shoot them out to me, and have a good day, eh?